You might be breathing your last breath right now without even knowing it, because a ripple in space could erase the entire universe at the speed of light. It would happen so fast that your brain would not even have time to feel a single spark of pain before you simply stopped existing. When we look up at the night sky, we usually see a beautiful and peaceful view of twinkling stars and distant galaxies. But scientists who study the deep secrets of the cosmos have found some theories that are much more scary than any ghost story. These ideas do not just change how we look at the stars, but they change how we feel about being alive in such a massive and empty place. Today, we are going to look at 12 theories that suggest our universe might be way more dangerous and strange than we ever thought. The first big question we have to ask is why we have not heard from anyone else out there in the big dark. This brings us to the Great Filter, which is a theory that says every civilization hits a wall that stops them from moving forward. Think of it like a very hard video game level that nobody can beat, and it usually ends with everyone dying out. The scary part is, we do not know if we have already passed this wall or if it is waiting for us in the future. If we find simple life on Mars, it would actually be the worst news ever, because it means life is easy to start, but hard to keep going. That would suggest the Great Filter is still ahead of us, and we are probably going to run into something that destroys us very soon. But what if the aliens are actually out there, and they are just staying very quiet, because they are scared of what else is hiding? This is called the dark forest theory, and it imagines the universe as a dark woods where everyone is a hunter carrying a gun. In this world, you never make a sound, because if you do, a bigger hunter will see you as a threat and take you out. We have been screaming our location into space with radio waves for decades, which might be like ringing a dinner bell for space monsters. If this theory is true, our first contact with aliens would not be a friendly handshake, but an immediate and total ending for our planet. Maybe the aliens do know we are here, but they have collectively decided to treat Earth like a giant cage or a nature park. This is the zoo hypothesis, and it suggests that advanced beings are watching us through their cosmic telescopes right now. They might be waiting for us to reach a certain level of intelligence or technology before they finally decide to say hello. It feels a bit weird to think that our whole history is just a reality show for some green guys living millions of light years away. But there is a much lonelier possibility that says we are actually the only ones here in the entire history of everything. The rare Earth hypothesis argues that the conditions needed for humans to exist are so specific that they might have only happened once. You need the right size planet and the right distance from a star and a big moon to keep the tide moving. You even need a giant planet like Jupiter to act as a shield and suck up all the space rocks that would otherwise hit us. If we are truly alone, then the pressure on us to survive is huge, because if we fail, then the universe becomes a dead and empty place. That is a lot of weight to put on a species that still fights over who owns which piece of dirt on a small blue rock. Now, let's talk about the very ground we stand on, because it might not be as real as you think it is. The simulation theory is the idea that our entire reality is just a very advanced computer program made by a more powerful civilization. Think about how good video games have gotten in just 50 years, and then imagine what they will look like in 1,000,000 years. It becomes very likely that someone has already made a universe simulation that is so perfect the people inside do not know it is fake. Some people think they have found glitches in the system, like the way light behaves or the fact that math can explain everything. If we are just code, then the person running the computer could just hit the delete button whenever they get bored of us. But it gets even weirder because of a theory called the Boltzmann brain, which comes from the laws of physics and math. The idea is that it is actually more likely for a single brain to pop into existence in empty space than for an entire universe to grow. This brain would have fake memories of a life and a family and a world that never actually existed in the first place. That means you might be that single brain floating in the void right now, imagining this video and this room and your whole life. This bubble would change the laws of physics inside it so fast that atoms would literally fall apart instantly. There would be no warning and no way to see it coming because nothing moves faster than the light that would be carrying the news. While we wait for the universe to reset, we also have to deal with the giant predators that are literally invisible to us. Rogue black holes are giant stars that have died and are now wandering through our galaxy like hungry ghosts. They do not stay in one place, and they do not emit any light, so we cannot see them until they start eating something. If a black hole the size of a planet entered our solar system, it would throw the Earth out into the cold dark or just swallow us whole. We would not even know it was there until we noticed the planet starting to move in very strange and scary directions. Even if we avoid the black holes, we still have to look out for the biggest explosions in the history of time. Gamma-ray bursts are huge beams of energy that shoot out when a massive star collapses or two stars crash into each other. If one of these beams hit Earth from even thousands of light years away, it would cook our atmosphere in a matter of seconds. The ozone layer would vanish, and the surface of our world would be hit with so much radiation that nothing could survive. It would be like the entire planet was put inside a giant microwave oven, and there is absolutely nothing we could do to stop it. Even the way our galaxy moves through space is a bit of a mystery that keeps many smart people up at night. Our entire neighborhood of galaxies is being pulled toward a specific spot in space called the Great Attractor. We are moving at millions of miles per hour toward this mysterious point, but we cannot see what it is because gas and dust block our view. It is like being on a boat in the middle of a thick fog and feeling a very strong current pulling you toward a giant waterfall. We do not know if something amazing is waiting there or if it is just a giant cosmic graveyard where galaxies go to die. While we are being pulled toward that spot, the rest of the universe is actually trying to rip itself into pieces. The Big Rip is a theory about dark energy, which is a strange force that is making the universe grow bigger and bigger every day. Eventually, this force might get so strong that it starts to overcome gravity and even the forces that hold your body together. First, the galaxies will fly apart, and then the stars will be pulled away from their planets, and then the planets will explode. Finally, the atoms themselves will be torn apart until there is nothing left but a thin soup of particles that can never touch again. But if the universe does not rip apart, it will likely face a much slower and more depressing ending called heat death. This is the ultimate fate of everything, where all the energy in the universe gets spread out so thin that nothing can happen anymore. Stars will run out of fuel and turn into cold lumps of coal, and black holes will slowly evaporate into nothingness. The universe will become a dark and freezing place where time still exists, but there is nobody left to see it pass. It will stay that way for trillions and trillions of years until the very idea of a human being is just a forgotten dream. Thinking about these theories can make you feel very small and unimportant in the grand scheme of the giant cosmic ocean. But it also makes the fact that we are here right now feel like a giant miracle that we should probably appreciate more. We are just a bunch of talking apes on a wet rock trying to figure out the rules of a game that might be rigged against us. But we have also managed to build telescopes and computers, and we have even sent people to the moon to look back at us. Even if the universe is a dark forest or a computer simulation, we are the ones who get to experience the beauty of it for a little while. Every time you learn something new about space, you are basically the universe trying to understand itself. That is a pretty cool job to have, even if the ending of the story is a bit scary or lonely for us. If you want to see more weird facts that will keep you awake tonight, you should watch the video that is on your screen right now. Subscribe for more space mysteries.